already own you. We own you. We own Turning Point USA. We own this movement. Whether you decide to have dignity about it and face me or not, that's up to you. That's something you'll have to tell your children. When Nick Fuentes became the future, when the Groypers took over the movement, did you take a valorant last stand? Were you courageous? Were you bold? Did you go down swinging, or did you go down like a...
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to be talking about something that I think isn't talked about enough, because the focus is always centered on the opposite of this, and that is the woke right. Obviously, we have the woke left, their ideology, some of the things that have come out of that, the problems that have emerged over that, and I've talked about that probably pretty much ad nauseum at this point on this channel. But the reason I want to talk about the woke right is because I think they have been sort of hiding in plain sight for a while. And after Charlie Kirk's death, I think that some of these people started to come out of the woodwork more and more. I believe, and maybe I'm not entirely correct about this, of course, this is just my observation, but I believe that Charlie Kirk had a lot more enemies than meets the eye, because as usual, we're always focused on the woke left. So that is what I want to talk about today. We're going to react to some clips. There's a couple people that I just think that some of their commentary and their thought process and the things that they're talking about and kind of spewing them as facts and whatever when they aren't necessarily, is one thing, but then they've also claimed to be such good friends with Charlie Kirk and so, such close alliances with Turning Point USA. And you could probably figure out who I'm talking about. There's a couple names that come to mind. And then you've got this other sector that it really is extreme, and they straight up just did not like Charlie Kirk at all. And it's very apparent in these clips that we're going to watch today and react to. So before we get into this, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you have been here before and have not subscribed yet, please do. Just go ahead and do it. It's free. It's totally free. I see a lot of people that come back and then they don't subscribe. And I'm like, why do you keep coming back then? If you're not subscribing, just go ahead and do it. Click that button. So this first clip is just sort of an introduction about what the woke right is and how it's kind of slipped into our society kind of right before our eyes.
Huge faction of anti-Semitic thought on the woke right, which parallels significantly with Nazi rhetoric of the interwar years and just historic anti-Semitic tropes, which people don't pay attention to, but it's becoming more and more mainstream, and it's kind of disguised in isolationist foreign policy arguments, or even like Tucker Carlson having pseudo-historians come on his podcast to talk about how Hitler is a misunderstood figure of World War II, and the West actually isn't that good. Like, we're taught that the West is the good actor of World War II, but the West also committed atrocities, and conflating, casualties of war, which are horrific, but with the same tragedy as the Holocaust, making the argument that the Holocaust was not a unique evil of World War II. A lot of very dangerous ideas. People don't pay attention to that. It takes Kanye West saying that Hitler was so fresh, or that he's a Nazi, for the media and for culture to start talking about those dangerous ideas.
So that's just kind of a short synopsis of what we're going to be talking about. And it kind of bleeds into the whole Charlie Kirk thing as well. And the first clip that I'm going to show you, I think, is very disturbing. And anybody who is subscribed to this channel, I think, should be disturbed by this as well. And I would hope agrees that this is just crossing way too many lines. Look at this.
He's saying Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan, but
he was also really cool. So, time to grow up. We're not children anymore, am I right? He was also really cool. And any boy knows that. Anybody who watches these videos where he's rolling down the street and stuff, it's like, this guy's awesome. This guy's cool.
what are we doing? If this is true, that like Groypers are everywhere and they're going to take over the Republican Party or whatever, they are actively campaigning already against J.D. Vance.
I mean, this Nick Fuentes guy is sitting up there saying that Hitler was cool, and that everybody thinks so secretly anyways, and that even though he was a pedo, he was really cool. And I just, what are we talking about? What are we doing here? Because I don't know, since when do cool and pedo go together in any scenario, regardless of who we're talking about? Those two things never go together. If you're a pedo, you are never on the cool side. You're bye-bye, out. Gone. So this is the type of person that we're dealing with. It runs on a platform of this type of garbage. And I'm starting to wonder what the hell is going on here. I mean, obviously these people are making a lot of money for a lot of clicks and a lot of shares. I think that makes up a lot of this, if I'm being honest. It's payment, it's money. And then you've got people on the left who inaccurately call everybody Hitler, everybody's a Nazi. One little thing is off and they're a Nazi or they're a bigot or this or that. So you've got all these bad players either calling things out totally inaccurately or people who actually literally are supporting Nazi type thinking or supporting historical figures to support things like this. Check out what he says on Tucker Carlson's show.
He's talking about Stalin on Tucker's podcast?
So it was like mid-December, late December. It's actually funny. It was December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Always an admirer. But we don't need to go into that. I guess.
What?
I'm sorry, but this dude is such a tool and he's such a troll. I feel like this dude just says this stuff because it's the most radical, hyperbolic, insensitive things that you can say. Because he's also been known to say a lot of other things that are bad about women. When the abortion thing got overturned, he said a lot of really inflammatory things about women and about women's rights and about women having control over their bodies. And I think it's all done on purpose. So the fact that people like Tucker Carlson even bother platforming people like this is just disgusting and ridiculous to me. And this is the same man who spoke at Charlie Kirk's funeral is now hosting people like this. Unbelievable how insane these people have become ever since he died. Or maybe they were always this insane, right? Because I was never a big fan of Tucker Carlson. I always thought he was slimy. So it's just like one slimy person talking to another slimy person. And then you got Officer Tatum up here just in complete disbelief.
Okay, let's get back to it. We'll circle back to that.
It was weird because the reason I mentioned that, it was almost like, because I woke up that day and I was like, oh, it's December 18th. And I was just like very acutely aware of like, today's like a strange day. This is the day.
Turning Point, USA. Are y'all watching this? Did you watch the interview? He just said that he's a fan. He wasn't joking. He remembers Stalin's birthday and said he's a fan of Stalin. And Tucker didn't push back on it. I'm just wondering, are y'all watching this? I'm just wondering. You got a man saying he's a fan of Stalin. Fine. Tucker, you're a Christian. What Stalin did as a person of murdering and genociding millions of people, it should be a problem. I know you hate the Jews, but at least killing people for no reason is a problem. And
they care about Palestine so much, and they care about that whole narrative so much, and there's so much against Israel. But yet, like they platform people like this that sit up there and talk about Stalin, how he's a fan. And then they don't say anything. They don't push back on that. I mean, he's 100% on target, 100% right about this. It's disgusting and shocking and weird. I don't know if people are just running out of ideas, running out of things to talk about, so they're being as radical as possible. I'm sorry, but I don't see the value in something like that. Where's the value in that? Show me the value in that. And I've got more too.
This was a direct spit in the face of Charlie Kirk's legacy.
How do you explain, like, Huckabee, Ted Cruz, and there are a lot like that, John Bolton. I mean, I've known them all.
Charlie
George
Kirk.
W. Bush, like Karl Rove. I mean, all people I know personally who I've seen like be seized by this brain virus, and they're not Jewish. Most of them are self-described Christians, and then the Christian Zionists who are, well, Christian Zionists. Like, what is that? Right. And I can just say for myself, I dislike them more than anybody. Because like, what? Because it's Christian heresy, and I'm offended by that as a Christian. That's why. So I don't, like, why not? Like, I'm pissed at the neocons, very pissed. I've said that a million times. I've been mad since December of 2003 when I went to Iraq. And so, like, I went and asked straightforward questions to Ted Cruz, because that seemed like he was a sitting senator who's like serving for Israel.
I'm sorry. I just want to stop and say that Tucker Carlson is nothing but a rich elitist grifter. If you look into his background as to who he is and how he grew up and what he's, the money he came into and everything, like, this person has never really done anything, to be honest, except get up there and be a talking head. And I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. There's fewer and fewer people that I'm finding, commentators out there and stuff, that impress me at all. But him in particular, whatever he's doing here, he's getting paid. Obviously, these people are getting paid. I mean, I'm getting accused. I'm a very small YouTuber, obviously. Okay, very small. I haven't really even been doing this that long in the grand scheme of things. And I'm being accused. I was just recently accused of getting paid $7,000 by Israel to talk good about Israel. Me. So to me, what's the real problem here? Because I think people have just got it in their heads that everything's Israel's fault. Everything's Israel's problem. Israel's just throwing all this money at people. Of course, all these Jewish stereotypes. It's fucking disgusting.
By his own description, he seemed like a worthy target. I'm not going after MTG, who's like the most sincere. Why not go after Ted Cruz? I don't understand.
Think about what he said. He said he hates the Zionists, right? Or that they're despicable as Christian heresy. Let's go to Charlie Kirk and what Charlie Kirk said about being a Zionist.
Have you ever been to Israel?
No, I'm just
so
curious.
Let me just contribute this as a fellow brother in Christ. When we as Christians go to Israel, we are celebrated and treated like the most amazing you could ever imagine. Okay? So I'm
just so you know, my wife lived in Israel, and this is true. And we have friends that live in Israel, and this is true. And I'm finding that the people that have never been to Israel, don't know anybody that's been to Israel, have never lived in Israel, any of those scenarios, they're the ones that seem to talk and speak against it the most. And this is outside of Tucker Carlson, by the way. I'm talking about everyday people that are getting out there and being like, oh my God, it's so bad. At the end of the day, I think this really is about just being popular, making money. This is the new way to do it. This is how to rile up a base, and the truth lies somewhere in between. And obviously, people can criticize the Israeli government all they want. I don't think that everything they do is right. I don't think everything they've done is perfect. I think they sure have a level of corruption, just like every government in the world has some type of level of corruption in it that I think is really no different than most other countries. It's like, to me, a lot of this stuff is just common fucking sense, but it's been twisted and manipulated and mutated into something that is just outright evil.
positive that there are radical, Hasidic sects that believe certain things, as are written in parts of the Talmud where they have anti-Christian beliefs. That is not my experience with mainline Israeli belief or mainline Judaism. And I will say this: why do I like Israel so much? I'm biased because Israel changed my life.
There's clips of Charlie explaining what Zionism. There's clips of Charlie saying he's a Zionist, and it just simply means what he said in some of the previous clips that I just showed of him is that the existence of Israel and the promise that God made to the Jewish people. No one is sitting here trying to justify the government. And
then you got people like Candace Owens, who has already had like 6 different conspiracy theories surrounding what happened to Charlie Kirk and what the problem is and who's really behind it and all this and that. And some of it is quite ridiculous in my personal opinion. She's very, very good at making some kind of case and moving the goalpost, promising receipts, giving little bits and pieces of things. And she's not just asking questions. She's asking questions and sort of like leading people towards the answer that she wants people to believe by the way she frames the questions and the way she frames her alleged evidence to support it. It's very creative. It's something that a lot of content creators do these days to get people really tuned in on the edge of their seats and what's next and whoa, oh my God, look what I uncovered. And I'm such an excellent investigative reporter. And she's kind of been all over the map too. She's been on the left, she's been on the right, she's been over here, she's been over there. And every day I feel like I'm like this, trying to follow what she's doing. I feel like her approach seems very just disingenuous. There's something off.
Everything Turning Point is doing is wrong. And you know it's wrong. You know it's wrong deep down. And I want to say this because there has been a lot of reading in between the lines. It's strange to me. I think I'm a very direct person. I say what I mean. And I do not want people to mistake what's happening right now or to wrongly assume my intentions here. So allow me to be very explicit, okay? I want war with all of you, okay? All of you.
Is she threatening everyone? She wants war with all of us. Okay, Candace. To me, this is a real convenient way to cast the biggest net possible so that no matter how things turn out, you can say, I knew it. See, it was this person. I knew it. See, it was blah, blah, blah. I was suspicious of all of this the whole time. That's what I see here. This is a real easy way for her to be able to be right no matter what the end result is.
There's a reason. I'm going to get to that reason in a little bit, but I want more with all of you. So write your articles, issue your statements, email the White House, reach out for comment, okay? Say whatever it is you want to say about me. I want more with all of you. Because I know this isn't right. And there is no way you are going to convince me and the rest of the world that all of this is normal.
Again, saying a whole lot of nothing. Lots of big, big talk, pulling out the big muscles, playing the game, but really not saying much of anything at all. And that's what the most of this is about. And I think it's a disgrace to Charlie Kirk's legacy and everything that he did do that was positive, that I hope continues to be as positive as it was and even better. And it overshadows all of this nonsense, because that's what I see, is that all of this is just nonsense. Everybody went from being so upset about him dying and so upset about his legacy being destroyed. And within days, these people were jumping all over it to try to be the right one, the correct one, the one that gets the most clicks, the one that's the hero now because XYZ, when really it's just a game. And it's just going to continue to be a game until people lose interest. We all want to know the truth about what happened. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen right now. I think that there are things that we don't know. I think it is okay to ask questions. And I can't, say that enough, but I don't think that this is what these commentators are doing. They're not just going up there and saying, well, you know what? I heard about this and I saw this and I wonder if that could be related. What do you guys think? No, they get up there and they talk into the camera and they say things as facts. The sky is purple. The sky is purple, guys. It's actually purple. You should go look at it. It's purple. It might look blue to you, but it's purple. That, to me, in a nutshell, is Candace Owens. And I'm going to play a little bit of the chicks on the right when they had a conversation with Ben Shapiro just recently. And he kind of describes what's kind of come out of this social media stuff recently. And I think he has a really good point here. Check it out. And I think he may actually be talking about Candace Owens in part of this without naming her by name.
We don't get it. We just don't get it, Ben. So we want to know what your thoughts are on all this anti-Israel sentiment, because I saw a stat the other day. I want to make sure I get this right. There's been an almost 900% increase in anti-Semitic incidents over the past decade alone. And we see it from people that we used to really love and respect. What the hell is going on? Like, what's going on?
So I do think that there is a grievance culture that has arisen on the right. So I think that the grievance culture, the kind of woke culture that arose on the left, was this idea that America is a white supremacist structure and that people who are suffering under that structure are the victims of a shadowy system. That shadowy system, is being run by the people who are disproportionately well-educated and rich. And hey, look, who's overrepresented among people who are well-educated and rich? There are a lot of Jews in that group. And so it must be that the Jews are manipulating the system. I think a lot of the anti-Semitism of the left comes from there. I think you're seeing a sort of mirror image of that on the right, where people who start with a premise, which is that much public policy was directed against particularly white Christian males, which is true during the Obama administration and the Biden administration. They then take that and they say, okay, well, we are also a sort of discrete insular group that is being attacked. The system won't allow us to succeed. And the solution for that isn't meritocracy. The solution is to say that America is in and of itself bad. The systems are out to get us. And who are the beneficiaries of the system? And you end up in almost exactly the same place. And so I think there is some of that. I also think that there are influencers who have basically decided that there's a lot of clickability to this particular issue, to Jews, to Israel, on X in particular. And a lot of the floodgates have been opened. It's a great way to go viral, like a really great way to go viral. And that there's no question that there are bot farms that are exacerbating all of that. But it's not all fake. But I do think that it can move from the virtual world to the real world fairly quickly. I also think that one of the things that's happened is that because the right for so long was told you can't say X, the Overton window is really, really small. that basically the right responded by blowing up the Overton window entirely and said, okay, well, now everything is on the table. And so if everything is on the table, then whatever is the most transgressive thing must be the most true thing. So the right kind of combined a couple of propositions. One was that if you're taking flack, it's because you're over the target, which used to be more true and is not necessarily true now.
Well, and that's something I think Candace Owens says a lot. Like, she'll say that, oh, because I'm getting pushback, it means that I'm onto something and it must be true. She uses that tactic specifically uses that tactic. And I believe she did that very recently with Charlie Kirk as well.
And so if I say something and I get a lot of blowback, it must be because what I'm saying is super true. And so if I say something that actually is kind of disgusting and a lot of people are criticizing me for it, well, it's not because what I'm saying is disgusting. It's because what I'm saying is actually true. And also, the right then overread sort of what cancel culture is into you're not allowed to even condemn bad speech, and anybody who condemns things that are bad is in fact a censor. So if you combine the idea that criticizing Nazis is a form of censorship, and also that the more flack you take, the more over the target you are, you end up with Nazis might be the good guys, right? Because Nazis take a lot of flack, and also if you criticize a Nazi, this makes you a censor. Right. And so,
I mean, how's that for freaking mental gymnastics? Because that's what we're dealing with here. Like, total mental gymnastics with the left wokies and the right wokies. It's just absurd. It's nuts. This is why I left the Democrat Party, went independent, didn't go to the Republican Party either, because I knew that there were potential issues over on that side as well. So I think it's really, really good, guys, to have diversity of thought, independent thinking, and not label yourself. So kind of getting back into the woke right, extreme right, white supremacist types like Nick Fuentes. I have some clips here that are just insane. Some of them relate to Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk. And I'm just really like, what I'm seeing now is that Charlie Kirk had enemies coming from all directions. He had enemies on the left, enemies on the right, and a couple, I think, in his own pool of friends, which are the ones that are out there being the most vocal right now, to me, if I'm being honest. I know that there's people out there who say, oh, it's Turning Point USA. It's actually them. They're the ones behind it. And it's Erica Kirk. And there's all types of disgusting things being said. And I'm just so like exhausted from it, honestly. So this is the clip about Erica Kirk where Nick Fuentes says some pretty disparaging things about her and things that are just so false and I think slanderous in some respects too. And that's something that Charlie dealt with on a regular basis.
To the extent, look, Erica Kirk is a spook. I've seen enough. Erica Kirk is a plant. We all know that. That is a fact. That is basically established. She was shopping around for a political husband. God knows where she comes from. She found one in Charlie Kirk. Do you think Charlie Kirk is the Riz master? He's not a good-looking guy. Dude, you know what she said on a podcast? I saw a clip of her on a podcast, and she said, I can't focus with him in the room because I'm just going to be looking at him. Now, that's some good acting. Now,
okay, so this guy's apparently never been in love before, because when you're in love, you see people in a different light, and they're way more attractive than maybe they would be if you're not in love with them, let's say. You know, it's a pretty basic thing that happens when you're dating somebody and you're falling hard for them. You think that they are the moon and the stars. And I've seen the clip that he's talking about, and it was clear as day that she was totally enamored with Charlie Kirk. This guy is so full of himself and has never seen love in his life, apparently, which is really sad, guys. That is sad.
Oh, you had me. Then I saw that clip. You know, maybe you had me when she did the first speech next to his chair. But when I saw that clip and she said, I'm not going to be able to focus with him in the room, he's too handsome. It's like, now that's some bad acting. That is some
No, I think you're the bad actor.
That is a serious acting job. So I think she's a plant, obviously. But does that mean that they took him out to put her in? Not necessarily. I think that it's a political marriage. She's an operative. He's an operative. He happened to be killed. She's going to take over his responsibilities. It is what it is. I agree. I think she is not who she says she is, because there's all these clips coming out. She's in a music video. She's on these reality TV shows. I'm hearing she dated other people in the conservative movement. It's like,
so
why is it that that's always the background? Alex Clark was on a reality show. Now she's doing a Turning Point show. Charlie Kirk's wife was on a reality show in a music video. Now she's a Turning Point. It's almost like you have these women or
Are you jealous that you're not included in this little party? Like, is that what's going on here? This kid, dude, he's such a dork.
people in general, but especially women who are with a talent agency or they're with some agency. They'll do anything to be famous. They'll do anything to get in front of the spotlight. And then they find themselves marrying these like conservative guys or doing conservative political shows. Isn't that interesting? Candace Owens is another one. She's another wannabe fame whore, another clout whore. It's just
All these people are the same. They may not be saying all the same things or agreeing about how to go about what they're going about, but at the end of the day, all of their behaviors all kind of track the same. And it's ridiculous. And it's sad because I think Charlie was genuine and he really did care about what he was trying to do for the world. And he really was like a good Christian man. So this clip here took place, I believe, a couple of weeks at the most before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. This is not a good look.
Charlie Kirk says, did you see this clip? He goes, your Generation Z sons have negative views about Israel. You need to tell them this. Time out. You need to tell them time out. He said, if you feel like a loser, if you feel like your country's been destroyed, get a second job. Get a Hillsdale online course. Observe the Shabbos. He literally said this. I am hurtling towards you, full force, going nearly 90 miles per hour, weighing close to 1,500 pounds. I am hurtling towards you like a human missile to blow up this whole thing. And you're telling Generation Z, buy a Hillsdale course, get a second job, observe the Shabbos, go to Turning Point. You are not ready for this. You are not prepared for this.
This guy is just full of himself, full of nonsense. Like, what? He's like this little dweeb or something. Like, he's just blowing a lot of freaking hot air and talks a lot of words and says a lot of things that at the end of the day are a whole mess of nothing. And for him to mess with Charlie Kirk, I mean, Charlie Kirk had way better things to do and way better people to talk to than ones that are on here like this, that are just doing anything they can to get attention.
And I'll say it now like I did in 2017, the day after Charlottesville. A tidal wave of white identity is coming. And once word gets out, they will not be able to stop it. As I said, the day after Charlottesville, 8 years ago, prophetic. You think you're in control? Do you feel in charge? Who else we going to bring in? Elon, Tucker, Candace. You know what their next move is going to be.
That's very strange to me, guys. That is very strange that he said that, the way he talked through the whole thing. I've got some other ones too that I'm going to show you, but there's something really wrong. He's got a base build up, a platform of viewers to see what he's going to say next. You know, he talks about bad acting about Erica Kirk when really I think he's the bad actor here. I don't know that he even believes half the things that he says. I truly don't. I hope not, because if he does, then that makes him, I don't know what's worse. If you say these things and you don't really believe them because you want to make money, or you say these things and you really believe them and you want to make money. Like, either way, it's insane to me. It's just absolutely repulsive, nauseating behavior. Every fiber of my being, like the instinctual part of me when I watch that guy, is just screaming inside to run away. And also just kind of be like, dude, like, you're not that tough. Like, you're talking all big and bad and like that you like Stalin and Hitler was cool. Like, come on. Like, does anybody take this seriously? This guy wants to be taken seriously. He wants the attention. He wants people going, oh my God, did you see that terrible, awful white supremacist guy named Nick Fuentes?
Whether he chooses to confront me or not, whether he has dignity and honor or not, it's just a matter of time My ideas are already there. I've already impregnated your organization. I took Turning Point USA and I fucked it. I took your organization, I took your baby, Turning Point USA, and I fucked it. And I've been fucking it. And that's why it's filled with groypers. That's why your whole crew, that's why the people around you, that's why your chapter presidents, that's why your attendees, they're all groypers. So whether you choose to confront me or not over the honor of your Turning Point USA, it's immaterial to me. I'd like it. I just get a sick satisfaction out of it. Because I like it.
Well, at least he's not dishonest. I mean, you know, with the Candace types and the Tucker Carlson types, I have a hard time believing that they're being truthful. But this guy is being very, very truthful in the sense that he's saying exactly how he feels. You know, if you read between the lines a little bit, I think he's jealous, a little bit jealous of Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA baby that he has, you know, and he effed it. And that's why it's full of groypers. It's sort of like a fear-mongering scare tactic that I'm messing with you, and I'm messing with you in this psychological way that you don't realize I'm really doing. It's really sneaky and manipulative and kind of sociopathic in a sense. But again, does he really believe anything he's saying, or is this like just for clicks and attention? That's the part that's the mystery, and good for him for keeping everybody sort of wondering what the hell he's really about, because wow.
Like to win. But we're already there. And this whole ideology, Zionism plus free market, it's dead either way. You know it. I know it. Pretty much the whole world knows it's over. In the last 7 years, who's moved closer to
over?
Who? Could anybody accuse me of stealing Charlie Kirk's ideas? No. Has Charlie...
So that's what this is about, is taking each other's ideas? Maybe he's telling on himself a little bit here.
Charlie Kirk, every step of the way, moved in degree closer to me, tried to ape my bit, my ideas, my style. Oh, no question. No question.
Oh, yeah, Charlie Kirk's a lot like you, buddy. Oh, yeah, he's just stealing your ideas and moving closer to your side. God, what a bullshitter.
Question. We already own you. We own you. We own Turning Point USA. We own this movement. Whether you decide to have dignity about it and face me or not, that's up to you. That's something you'll have to tell your children. When Nick Fuentes became the future, when the Groypers took over the movement, did you take a valorant last stand? Were you courageous? Were you bold? Did you go down swinging, or did you go down like a bitch? Did you...
He's trying to get under his skin. You know, that's the point of this, is just to get under his skin and intimidate him and bully him to whatever point. You know, it doesn't really matter to this guy, you know. This is the kind of shit that Charlie Kirk was dealing with, guys. These kinds of people here. And you would think that people like, I don't know, Candace Owens would come to, you know, his defense. Her best friend, Charlie Kirk, come to his defense over people like this. And I believe Nick Fuentes was on Candace Owens' show. So that makes this all the more interesting to me. I don't have the answers. I don't know if I'm really connecting dots or not. I'm just kind of reacting to this and going, this is a whole lot of yuck. So in this last clip, Charlie Kirk speaks to someone who is sort of on the white supremacist spectrum. And I have always found it strange that everybody on the left would look at Charlie Kirk and say, oh, he's on the alt-right, he's right-wing, when really there's so much more diversity and nuance to that subject matter. And he was not at all a white supremacist. In fact, he condemned it. Check it out here.
What does it mean to be an American? Is it an idea or a history, a shared history, or is it a skin color?
Well, I mean, you could go back to the original founding fathers, the Immigration Act of, I believe it was.
What does it mean to be an American? Is it a skin color or something else?
So there's the current idea of what it means according to, the Hart-Celler Immigration Act and, all this bullshit that you guys spew. But if you go back to the original founding fathers, they intended this to be a European nation for white men of good stock and character.
So, can you show me? Let me answer the question. Can you show me where in the United States Constitution it says that?
It wasn't in the Constitution.
It wasn't in the Constitution because they didn't believe it.
The founding.
You, sir, they did not put it in the United States Constitution. Let me answer another question. Let me ask you another question since you support. Allow him to have the mic. Let me ask you another question,
Founding
sir.
fathers wrote many
What
other
does the
documents
phrase,
other than the United
sir,
States Constitution, and they made it explicitly clear. That
what
they
does the
believe-
phrase "e pluribus unum" mean? What
Why
does
is
the
that
phrase
relevant?
"e pluribus unum" mean?
Why is that relevant?
Because it was on every founding
No, the
document
founding
and
fathers
presidential
wrote
seal
a
from our
litany of
founding,
documents
which means
stating
out
they
of
believe
many,
this country should
one.
be a
You, sir,
European nation.
and your ideology is not conservative. It is right-wing, identitarian, and has no place in the conservative movement, my friend. Get out of line. Get out of line. USA, 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 USA.
I've got goosebumps, guys. I mean, that other clip that I showed you in a different video, I think it was either Charlie Kirk's legacy or there was another one about him not being an oppressor, where he condemned somebody for being totally homophobic. He's done this many, many times in his talks, in his college campuses, tours that he would do. He was the only one out there de-radicalizing the college campus, by the way. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Your voice does matter to me, but it doesn't matter when you're acting like a demon. So with that, I will see you guys in the next one, and thank you for all of the support.